My name is Thabo. I'm one of the directors and co-founders of the project. The project's name is called Haborona. The owners of Haborona from an incorporated company is Mapchief Pty Ltd. We two main directors, it's myself and Effie, and then we've got 5 other equity investors. So the development itself is made up of 77 units. It is, or it was a greenfield project. When we started as a residential, but over time we realized that in the area there is demand for student accommodation, and then we did the necessary zoning applications to convert it into student accommodation. It is now a student accommodation that is servicing the students of Tshwane University of Technology. As we take this video now, it is 100% let. It's got 306 beds. We did give some beds away to give up some beds as part of the accreditation requirement to the caretakers. So we got right now the bed capacity is 298 and it is fully let. Working with Gauteng Partnership Fund enabled us to be able to successfully close the deal from a financial closure point of view, because it allowed us through GPF, it allowed us to be able to go raise capital from other agencies, in this case a senior funder called NEF, National Empowerment Fund. Gauteng Partnership Fund is a junior funder. It funded the project at about 30% of the total development cost. The 60% came from NEF and the 10% came from the equity investors or the shareholders ourselves. So without GPF, certainly this project would not have happened, because the first question that the senior funder asked was, do you have any other co-funder on the project? And then fortunately at that time, we had already signed expressions of interest with GPF, which we submitted to NEF, and then that unlocked the opportunity for the funding of this project. When we started the project, it's really some of the challenges that we had, a very, very big challenge, was regarding the water services, into the building. So we need to build the infrastructure for the water services, before the SDP could be approved, So we then approached GPF and asked that if we could make an arrangement with the contractor that they could work on risk. So meaning that the contractor undertakes the job even before the funding or the disbursement has come through, before the SDP has been approved, that the contractor comes on risk, but once the water services, have been installed, then that will unlock the approval of the site development plan, and then it will later on unlock, the disbursement of the funds, because all the condition precedents would have been met, So the contractor agreed to do that, and then we approached GPF. Then GPF was happy, that they'll be able, of course, if all the condition precedents are met, the funder, the contractor will be paid, for the work that will have been completed by them, subject, of course, to inspection and stuff like that. So really, that kind of approach from GPF to enable us to start the project at risk, on the condition that there will be disbursements in the future, only if all the condition precedents have been met, that helped us to get this project off the ground. So that's the magnitude of the impact that the GPF has had on the project. Because had that not happened, that initial approval been given, the project would have fallen away, But the promise into the future that the contractor will be paid on subject to fulfillment of all the condition precedents, and it allowed the contractor to start the work. But of course, the contractor doesn't take all the risk by himself. We, as the main founders, myself and my partner, we had to put in surety to the value of the initial work that was going to be done. So we had to provide that surety to the contractor, and that surety was quite substantial. It was in the form of our properties, to the value of about 2.3 million. One of the key challenges that we experienced on the project, at the beginning, was the coordination of the professional teams and aligning them and ensuring that the professional teams are able to work harmoniously, are able to work effectively, and are able to deliver. So GPF dedicated on almost a full-time person into the project. So this person became part of all our progress meetings, because the person was a technically qualified professional quantity surveyor himself. This person sat in all the meetings, and then in all those meetings, this person added a lot of value in terms of robustly holding the other professional teams in the project accountable, for delivery of the tasks that we given, be it the architect, quantity surveyors, be it electrical engineers, structural engineer, project managers, and making sure that the quality of the inputs as well, that quality of the inputs were proper. And we also submitted regular reports to GPF as well, and GPF reviewed those to make sure that the project is able to stay on track, is able to stay on budget. So GPF was intimately involved in the project right from the beginning, right up to the end. Given where the project is at now, it's been operational now for over a year. This is the second year. The first year of operation, the occupancy rate was 80%. Now the occupancy rate, as we sit now, is at 100%. But of course, over time, there will be defunded students and some students registering for whatever reason. So we think that could drop that maybe to around about 98%. But it's still a fantastic performance, but because we're able to start the year now at 100% occupancy. So what does that mean? That bodes well for future project opportunities, because it shows that there is definitely a demand in the area for student accommodation. So we see GPF as a partner with us going forward. To scale up for GPF to be part of the partnership and the ecosystem that will be able to help us going forward to scale up and then bring on more projects online. Certainly, 100% so. I would recommend GPF to any other developer. I think the model that GPF has developed in terms of being able to take that equity, to take that first risk, and then funding at 30%, and co-funding with any other potential senior funder, be it another DFI or be it a bank. GPF is prepared to do that. Not so many agencies will be prepared to do that. So because that co-funding model that GPF has created has enabled a lot of emerging entrepreneurs to come into the industry, because first thing that the commercial banks or any funding entities will ask, have you got any equity? How much are you looking for? And for most funding entities, the threshold for them to fund is at 60% of the project cost. So already with GPF providing 30%, the investor bringing in 10% equity. So it allows for the 40% to be raised, and then that is received very, very well by the market. Certainly it is a model that works very, very well for the developing and emerging property entrepreneurs.